And here we go.
Look, the people you are after are the people you depend on. We cook your meals. We haul your trash. We connect your calls. We drive your ambulances. We guard you while you sleep. Do not fuck with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Project Maydie. We are getting spicy today, ladies and gentlemen. This is an absolute absurdity we are dealing with here in the United States of America with these draconian edicts by King Biden himself. I got a spicy show for you today. Absolute chaos in America, as per usual, under the Biden regime, as well as his red guard. So let's get straight into it. First thing I want to topic here, obviously, is the fact that we are the ones that are in control. At the end of the day, the American people, the American public, the people that are woken up, the people that have drifted away from the slumber and the propaganda and the absolute madness that is the mainstream media or the corporate media and the cathedral, have been deemed as domestic tars. I think you know what I'm saying. I've had to kind of move around the way I use my language on this particular platform, unfortunately, because I have seen a steady up, drift, and jump based on the types of words that I use in each particular episode. But we have dropped the F-bomb at this point, so let's just get to it. Look, the people you are after are the people you depend on. Airline pilots, firefighters, policemen. You know, maybe you just do trash. Maybe you're a cashier. Maybe you do real estate. Maybe you are a business person. It doesn't matter who you are. At the end of the day, are you an American? That's really the bar. Do you believe in the Constitution? Do you believe in this republic? Benjamin Franklin said it himself. You can have this and you can hold it, this republic, if you can defend it. So are we willing to defend this republic? Are we willing to stand in unity and to actually fight back against tyranny? It's kind of funny because the entire message from the Biden regime from the very beginning, as basement Biden sat in his basement through the entire fruition of the campaign cycle, what he actually did was one of the most amazing moves, pushing himself out as a moderate, pulling in people to think that he was going to come in and basically make it so that the news would stop going crazy. Because every single time Donald Trump took a step forward, the mainstream media and the corporate press did every single thing they could to blow it out of proportion, blow it out of water, malign him, lie about him, and basically doctor video. You probably remember what happened in Japan with the prime minister, where it looked like he just threw all the fish bait in, when the reality was that the Japanese prime minister did that just before him, but they cut the video and literally edited it to make it seem as if Trump was just this buffoon. They talked about all this chaos, that Donald Trump was such a fascist. And yet when cities were burning and looting was caused, 30 plus people dead, over, I believe it's between $2 and $4 billion in damages, people's lives uprooted and destroyed because of actual domestic tars. What happened? Did Donald Trump go in there with the force of the federal government and hunt people down? No, he was completely hands off. And yet here we have Joe Biden here, who is simply superseding the Congress, the House, and the Senate all at once, not allowing our elected representatives to actually stand up and fight for our rights and our liberties, but by decree. The TV man kind of reminded me of that old song by Flowbots. There's one particular line in that song, I can lead a nation with a microphone, which is what he's doing. He's leading a nation by simply showing up on the television and decreeing his will. This is Mussolini in action, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mussolini 2.0. Luckily, or maybe unluckily, this demented old man will simply falter. And the only way he will falter is if we stand in unity. It's absolutely critical at this point that we take every measure to fight back about what's happening right now. So, to get into it, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, Freedom Flu was trending on Twitter the other day. I actually got a nice little retweet by Jack Posobiec himself, which was pretty awesome. Big fan of Jack Posobiec. He was a former intelligence officer in the United States Navy. And I used to hang around with those guys quite a bit. I was an IT in the Navy. I worked on computers. And I happened to work on systems called Geeks. It was basically, think of a Google Maps version of warfare, right? Essentially showed where enemy ships were, enemy subs, stuff like that, showed where our allies were. And basically it was my job to make sure that that particular system was working at all times. But ladies and gentlemen, don't fret, because I do have a nice little white pill for today. We are not going to fire any employees over this. Southwest CEO comes out in opposition to Biden vacuum mandate, which is amazing news. It's awesome to see that people fighting back, that messaging coming in, that calling our congressman, that going out there and causing a stir, a bit of a kerfuffle, if you will, that it actually makes a difference, that it makes a difference to stand up and speak out, that in the time of our civil liberties being under the most duress, that we fight back and that we win. The only way we can do this is by continually putting pressure and letting these politicians that have been lining their pockets with all of the corpos in Washington, D.C., with their PACs and their luxurious mansions, their $10,000, $20,000 dinners, their $50,000 speeches, we must hold them accountable. Because this corruption has spread so far that the president feels as if he has the power to go onto the television and through edict, King Biden stepping in and letting us poor little plebs, letting us know what's best for us. While he continues to hammer on what's going on in terms of the 1% that's making all this money, let's actually take a look at wealth disparity across the United States. What does it look like for the top 10%? What does it look like for the bottom 50%? This graph illustrates it all. It was in 2008 where Obama went out and bailed out all of the big banks. And here today, we have Joe Biden once again pushing another $1 trillion bill that is going to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Getting the poor to such a place that not just food stamps, not just welfare, not just assistance, but having government in every single aspect of your life. No longer in control of your own destiny. No longer in control of the decisions that you make and the ability to live the American dream. To work those crappy jobs so that you can earn that money, scrape it up, and invest in yourself, invest in a business, invest in a dream, invest in a future. No, today, the government's going to do that for you. And God, knowing how well government works, I'm sure they're going to do an amazing job. Take a look. America's economy has changed in a way that few of the winners seem to notice, as they're too busy cheerleading their own brilliance and success. In the view of the winners, who just so happen to occupy all the seats at the media punditry Federal Reserve, the rising tide of stock, bond, and real estate bubbles are raising all boats. What's left unsaid, except, is that 50% of the boats are with gaping holes below the waterline, stagnant wages, and fast rising cost of living. For those of you who haven't seen, food prices are about to go through the roof. And we are continually seeing messaging from the White House saying, make sure to buy Christmas products now because they will not be there come December. What we are witnessing is the Great Reset. We are witnessing the iconoclast, super ultra rich who are going to lord over us for our entire lives. It's already bad enough. But it wasn't enough. They will not relent. until you are living in a pod and eating the bugs. That is the ultimate goal. You will own nothing and you will be happy. It's utterly insane what we're dealing with right now, ladies and gentlemen. But we are having some governors step up to the plate. Unfortunately, these rhinos take way too long. The southern border is completely wide open. I saw another video the other day of migrants simply crossing the border, walking around the wall that was never completed. Because people like McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Paul Ryan were all fighting tooth and nail. They fought harder against Donald Trump than they do the Democrats, which they concede to at every whim. If you think the Republicans are on your side, I got a ship to sell you. I got a bridge to sell you. I got a lot of things to sell you, ladies and gentlemen, because these people are corrupt. It's pretty obvious at this point that the only way that we're going to be able to take our country back is through America First candidates, actual America First candidates. And you know how you will know if these people are true? The media will attack them relentlessly. Anyone who is an actual outsider, anyone who dares to threaten the establishment, if the media is attacking them, that is a great indignation, or inclination rather, that they are the perfect candidate. So maybe look into your own district. Maybe look into getting into something that is actually going to cause changes in your own locale. It could be something small, maybe do pest management, right? But you could be the damn best at it, right? An America Firster doing it from the front lines. Instead of waiting for your particular political candidate to actually step up into the limelight, why not do it yourself? So, I'm not going to say anything here, but let's just say in the future, maybe even in the near future, I myself may be looking to do just that. With that said, take a look. Texas, in direct defiance of the Biden administration, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has banned any entity from trying to impose a vacuum mandate in the state. Abbott issued a statement that the COOF vacuum should always remain voluntary and never forced. The governor's office announced that no entity in Texas can compel receipt of a COVID-19 vaccination. Oh, I said the word. Of any individual, including an employee or consumer who objects to such vacuum for any reason of personal conscience, based on religious belief, or for medical reasons, including prior recovery from COVID-19. I hereby suspend all relevant statutes to the extent necessary to enforce this prohibition. This is unbelievable, guys. And more states need to be doing this. It's not difficult to call your congressman. It's not difficult to simply, and I'm not saying harass them. It's not harassment to call them every day. I do it just about every day, guys. I call Daniel Webster's office. I get some sort of aid, and I am going to continue calling every single day until I can talk to him. Because everything that's happening right now must stop. And the only way we're going to be able to stop it is by being a pest. Just like the left, who goes out in the streets. Now, I'm not saying do this, but they burn, they destroy statues, they light entire communities on fire, they kill people. I mean, they go hard. They go hard to a level that I'm not even asking for, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just asking you to make a phone call. So do it. Simply look up your particular precinct, find your house member, and call them. And let them know that's what is happening to this country cannot happen. It's kind of ironic because you've seen it in the media pushing that it's conservatives, that it's Republicans, that it's libertarians, right? That are pushing against this mandate. When in fact, it might be a smaller portion, I give you that, but as many as 20% of Democrats could actually be against what is happening right now. These forced mandates, forcing something into your body. And then if you don't do it, they will throw you out on the streets. And they call that choice. That's not choice. That's coercion. It's unbelievable what's happening. You see all of these migrants going across the southern border while veterans, and everyday working Americans that have fought and have come down on rough times, that are homeless, are being left to die. They care more about people that aren't even part of our nation than they do about actual Americans. And that should tell you a lot. The morality, the virtue, the love, the unity that is consistently pushed from the left, what does it get you? It makes you broke. It makes you homeless. It makes you scared. It makes you fearful. Because the next step could ultimately lead to not only our demise, but to our actual deaths. I'm willing to take this all the way to the hilt. If it means I end up homeless, I lose my home, perhaps I lose my family, perhaps I lose everything. But when I see injustice and when I see what's happening in this country, I know in my heart, deep in my bones, that what is happening right now is wrong. And anyone, and I really want you to think about this, anyone in your life who is against what's happening, and maybe they haven't gotten the vacuum, right? And this isn't even to target people that have gotten it. Maybe they got it early on. Maybe they got the vacuum themselves. Or maybe they're just holding out, or maybe they just don't believe what's actually being pushed by the corporate media, just like myself. Well, if you're one of those people and you happen to relent and you happen to get into coercion, then I can't trust you. And everyone around you shouldn't trust you. Because if you were to betray your own conscience, you are the last person I would want to rely on when things get worse. Because they are. They're going to get much worse. These people from across the globe, these internationalists that are raping our country, its people, its wealth, its culture, its meaning, its liberty, its love, its desire, its freedom. They care nothing but power, money, and the easiest way to accumulate that. They don't care about you as an American. I do. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, it is a quick one. If you enjoyed this type of episode, make sure to go down below, like, subscribe, share. Let the president know that he works for us and we don't work for him. Everyday people, members of Project Maydie, I'm working on missions that we're going to be doing. Essentially, it's going to be taking people, and a lot of these missions, guys, so if you're super scared, maybe you have something, maybe you have a job where you're in the public limelight a little bit. A lot of these things are going to require you to actually dress up a little buffoonish, a little foolish, and let's just say that your identity in most of these missions will be completely anonymous. So essentially what we're going to end up doing is going all across America and just randomly showing up, kind of like those flash mobs, right? And we're going to randomly show up in some of the busiest parts across the nation with a message in hopes that this will spread all across America. Because civil disobedience is our right. I believe it was Thomas Jefferson who said, when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. Let's do our duty. I'll see you guys on the next one. I love you guys.